Fade in. Ambience. Daytime. Setting. Downtown. Time? At this point, it's about time I get a watch. All jokes aside, the night we visited the Capybara Club certainly turned out to be eventful, to say the least. The end result being my car having to be put into a storage locker for evidence until further notice, so a rental that the agency provided will have to suffice. Me and the listener pulled up to a pawn shop in the downtown area after we stopped and got ourselves some donuts. Speaking of which, why did we stop for donuts again? Hey. Yes, I am talking to you. I was asking why did we stop to get donuts? Was it for evidence or something? Just hungry, huh? I see. The listener. They're an oddball. I'll say that much, but at least they seem to know what they're doing. Most of the time. What compliment? Let's save the you somehow being able to hear what I'm saying argument for later. Right now, we have a case to solve. The listener finished off the donut, and we both stepped out of the car. We looked up and took a glance at our next location of interest. The Silver and Gold Pawn Shop, with their infamous motto being, "Best I can do is what I do best." We began to make our descent into the shop. Walking inside wasn't much of a hassle compared to having to navigate. I don't know about you, but I felt like a big bull walking through a little fine china shop. Can't say the same for my partner. They made it look so easy. So, Thatch is his name, right? I wonder where he got that from. We made our way to the main service desk and rang the bell. A voice can be heard from behind the counter. I peeked over and saw a straw hat with fake palm leaves thumping up and down. This must be our guy. Mr. Thatch, I presume. My name is Detective Fake, and this here is my partner. We're here to ask you a few questions regarding a recent transaction. And why exactly can you not help us? The straw hat stopped moving for a brief second. Then it began to arise from behind the counter. The hat was rising way over our heads until it finally stopped. The hat itself was resting on a tall yet somewhat thin man looking down on us. I almost mistook him for Circus Baby due to the height difference catching us both off guard. If this fellow drove an ice cream van instead of a pawn shop, I would be even less inclined to go near it. Well, sir, it would be better if you did share any info you possess that could help us solve this case. After all, a recent customer of yours couldn't make too much good use out of selling a certain typewriter. Yes, a vintage one to be exact. Do you happen to still have it? Sold already. I see. To whom exactly? Well, if you can't disclose such info, I'll just have to foreclose it out of you. Darn, this is going tougher than I thought. This Thatch fellow wasn't going to be toppled over by any of my intimidation tactics. As I was wondering about what to do next, the listener tapped me on my shoulder. What? What is it? You know how to get him to talk? How? The listener pulled out a large briefcase magically from their trench coat. It looked like it was big enough for an instrument, but something was off about its shape. They placed the briefcase on the counter and began to explain themselves. It turns out, Thatch was a pillow-collecting fanatic. He's got a massive pillow collection out somewhere that was said to be a castle-sized pillow fort, and who would sell both of his arms and legs to get his hands on the most exotic and rare finds to his collection. What's in the case? A docky what now? As if we were in the middle of a shady business deal, the listener opened the case, revealing a docky makara inside it. The rarest that there is, they said. Thatch's eyes opened wide with awe and delight. It became clear that he wanted this thing. But... exactly what my partner said. You tell us everything we need to know, and you can have this thing. We can sell it to you in exchange for info. That is our trade. We could tell that we were making Thatch work up a sweat. His eyes said it all. He wanted this pillow bad. Really bad. Well, if you can't tell us anything, then I guess the deal is off. I guess this was enough to break Thatch. He finally gave in and offered to answer our questions in exchange for the pillow afterwards. Good. Now let me ask, did a girl by the name of Annie recently sell you a typewriter? All right, can you tell me what kind of typewriter it was? A vintage 1937 Olympia Elite typewriter. Sounds like it must have been worth a pretty penny, huh? Yeah, a collector's item indeed. But back on topic. Who did you sell this typewriter to? I need a name, something other than some random guy. BP? Wait, what would BP be doing with a typewriter? Wanting to impress a girl, huh? Sounds interesting. Well, I suppose you can have the pillow now. But first, tell me something. What do you know about... Before I could finish asking about the elusive smooth criminal, my partner instantly pulled me down to the ground. Suddenly, the sounds of gunfire flooded the shop we were in. The hailstorm of bullets manages to either break or damage just about everything. Well, everything but us, thankfully. After what felt like an eternity, there was silence. All right, I think we can get up now. Me and the listener slowly got to our feet while clutching our side pieces. We scanned our surroundings. The shop was in ruins, like the aftermath of a hurricane. I looked over to the counter where Thatch once stood. Damn. Poor Thatch. The guy's body looked like a Connect 4 grid. If I attempt to describe it as anything else, then I would be triggering someone's trypophobia. We suddenly heard the sound of a car starting up. We both rushed out of the shop and noticed a car awkwardly trying to speed away without looking sus. Dang it, they're getting away! I guess my partner must have heard my inner monologue or something, because next thing I knew, they were pulling up beside me with the rental car I have. Without wasting any more time, I jumped straight in, and our high-speed chase began. Wait a second. Why are you the one driving? Look, this is my car. Fine, my rental car. Anyway, I have a strict no valet policy. I should be the one driving, not you. Can't we at least switch seats? I mean, if switching seats during a high-speed chase works in movies, I can't see why it shouldn't in a roleplay. Fine. Just try not to get a scratch on it. What was that? All right. At least line it up so I can get a good shot at those cars' tires. To say this chase was intense was an understatement. We were dodging and weaving all these other cars, while I was trying to line up a shot for the bullet to say hello to the fleeing car's tires. After a brief moment, I was finally able to make it connect. The car spun itself out like it was a merry-go-round, eventually coming to a sudden stop thanks to a street pole. We slowed the car down and got out, clutching our sidearm as we approached the vehicle. The door bursts open, and to our surprise... Neckos? Why were Neckos shooting at us? I was expecting to see members of the Soon Gang or something. You're right, something certainly isn't adding up. The listener suddenly clutched their side. It looks like they're in pain. Hey, are you all right there? I'm going to go on a whim and say that it's more than just a flesh wound. Well, unfortunately for you, I'm already at the worrying part. I opened their coat, and there it was, a bullet wound. I guess they were fast enough to spare me of the bullet storm, but it wasn't enough to spare themselves from it. We should get you to a hospital. The sooner we get it treated, the better. No buts. Fade out. Fade in. Time skip. Ambience. Hospital room. Afternoon. I managed to drag the listener back to the hospital, despite their defiance. How are you doing there, kiddo? Stop doing what? Yeah, I'm still confused about the whole jumping around thing. Anyway, seeing as how you're rather uppity right now, I take it you're healing up nicely. No, those Neckos are currently in custody right now, but I doubt we'll be able to glean any new info out of them. Both are still unconscious, as far as I'm aware. I agree. Something really isn't adding up here. I would have expected some members of the Soon Gang to roll up on us like that, but not random Neckos. Maybe. Maybe they were part of the gang, too. But honestly, I'm not buying it. Considering your condition right now, I think it'll be best if you leave all the thinking to me for now. Besides, it won't help if you stress yourself out. I'm going to head back to the office and see if I can put something together. In the meantime, just get you some rest, and I'll check on you later, alright? I left the hospital room and made my way down its corridors to my rental outside. Looks like it's going to be up to me to solve this case. Dagnabbit, how'd I get a parking ticket this early on? Wait a minute. I inspected the piece of paper closer, and that's when I realized it wasn't a parking ticket, but a note, which read, "Enough. You're going off script. I'm going to end this here." Fade out. Letters fade in, reading, "End of Act 3. Fade out. Hang on. This ending is a little too soon, don't you think? I haven't even... There's not a lot of space in this closet, I gotta be honest.